I've also found out that my dipstick is cracked. It's not looking hopeful. Oh. Right, welcome back to the channel. Now today, we're going to change the thermostat. Now, I've never done this before, but I'm going to give it a go. It's if I can do it, it's going to be quite a cheap job, to be honest. It's about 45 quid for the thermostat and another 9 quid or something for a little gasket that I needed. So that plane is really loud, isn't it? We'll just wait for that to pass over. Now, from what I've researched into this, the thermostat on one of these cars is quite a big job. Two ways to do it: you can take the alternator off and get in from the side, or you can take the inlet manifold off and you can get to it from the top. Now, I think I'm going to go for the inlet manifold way because I feel like this car has got a lot of miles on it and I wouldn't mind cleaning that up as we go. And before you ask, no, I'm not a mechanic, I've never done this before, but I've got a new thermostat, I've got a toolkit, and I'm going to give it a go and show you what's involved in changing one of these little beauties. So, let's give it a shot. So why would you need to change your thermostat? So in my case, I've been noticing when I'm driving to work, it's about 12 miles, and even by the time I get there, the car is not warmed up. So with thermostats nowadays, they're more likely to get stuck open than they are closed. Now this is so your car doesn't overheat, but in my case it means that my car never actually heats up. So in that 12 miles, it's not heating up at all, and my miles per gallon has dropped dramatically. So I decided I'm going to see what I can do. I've bought a thermostat, like I said, I've got my toolkit, it's bank holiday weekend, I've got 4 days if this goes wrong. Let's give it a go. But before we get started, make sure you click subscribe. Have you done it? Excellent. Now we can carry on. Yes, I know that's not how you should jack a car up, but it's all I've got, and that's how it is. I've left the jack under it. I don't think it's going anywhere. Now the first thing I did was basically remove anything that was really obvious inside the engine bay. I'd only just changed my oil filter the week before, so I knew a few of the little lines that I had to remove to access the oil filter, which I knew had to come off to obviously get the inlet manifold off and change the thermostat. So that's the first thing I did. After that, I decided to tackle the hard lines. As you can see here, I cracked them all off and I was working towards removing the fuel rail, which meant removing all of the coil packs and all that sort of stuff, getting that out of the way to make removing the inlet manifold a bit more manageable. After that, I started to tackle the inlet manifold. This was really simple to get off. All the bolts are the same size. As long as you've got a long extension, this should be a really easy part of the job. So you take all the bolts out, and then that is pretty much all that is holding it on, apart from a boost pipe at the bottom of the throttle body. There's one thing I can definitely recommend, it's getting one of these magnets that you see me using. This is going to save your life if you drop any sort of bolts or anything like that down into the engine bay, and it also makes getting the bolts out of the inlet manifold easy because you can't get your fingers in to grab them. So once the inlet manifold was off, I started loosening off all the hose clamps that were attached to the thermostat and anything that was in my way. As you can see, we've already taken the EGR valve off and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I basically went by one, using this tool that I bought, which is basically a hose clamp remover to get into hard places. These are about a tenner on eBay, and honestly, I could not have done this job without it. And then this is where the battle to get the thermostat off begins. And there we go, that is the old thermostat. After a bit of a battle, that is out. So, to be honest, the hardest part of this was to remove these two little bits here, a couple of bolts that were properly hidden away. I think it would be easier if you remove your alternator. I didn't, but every guide that I've seen has said to remove the alternator to get these out. I'm hoping, to be honest, that putting the new one back in is going to be slightly easier, but that's where we're at. So we'll get on with fitting the new one, top it back up with coolant and whatnot, and then it should be done. Let's go. Okay, so where are we? We have got the new thermostat on. It is all plumbed in and whatnot. A couple of pipes are still loose and just need the hose clamps tightening up. But what I'm going to do now is basically I have separated the throttle body from the inlet manifold just for ease of putting it back together, a bit more space. And I've also found out that my dipstick is cracked, which obviously is no good. So I've ordered a new dipstick, but I've got to get this back together to get to work. So I'm going to leave the throttle body off. That should give me enough room once it's all back together to get a new dipstick in. So basically I'm going to put this all back together now. I've given it a bit of a clean up. Obviously it doesn't look like it, but yeah, I didn't want to use any sort of chemicals or anything on the rubber. I should have got a new seal really, but I didn't. So I've given it a bit of a clean up just around this area that was properly carboned up. Couldn't believe how much carbon was sort of in there. So I've got all that off, cleaned it up a bit, cleaned the throttle body up a bit. Again, sort of doesn't look like it, but if you can see in there, and that side was thick, there's probably half a centimetre of cap. That hole was probably half a centimetre smaller all round, just from carbon build-up. So I've given that a clean. Obviously I'm going to leave that off, get this back on now, so I'll just time-lapse it because it's, yeah, it takes longer than it's going to look. So let's go on with it. Right, it is a new day and we are back. I've eventually, after a week, I've been using, you can see it in the background, I've been using the Polo daily. And yeah, it's been a good little test for it after all the rebuild work, but it has made me realise that I do need to adjust the coilovers a little bit and give it a bit more height because it was scraping on everything. But apart from that, it's been great this week, it's worked. And I'm back now after going to Audi this morning and 40 quid lighter, but here is my new dipstick. I mean, I won't lie, it's a chuffing nice dipstick, but I'm not sure if that makes me the dipstick for spending 40 quid on it. But either way, we're back. Hopefully this is going to be the last time that anything breaks for a while, and we should be able to get it sorted today. Obviously we've got the throttle body to go back on, I've got the dipstick to go back on, I need to connect up the pipe work for the thermostat, bleed the system, and then we should be a-okay, back on the road. And yeah, hopefully get it started, get it warmed up, see what happens. Chances are the battery's probably going to be dead, but we shall see. So I'll crack on with this now and we'll go from there. As you can see, that is where mine snapped. Not ideal at all, but it is what it is, and I've got a new one. It's that one. Okay, so there we have it. Everything is now back together. Thermostat is in, it's plumbed in, all the hose clamps are tightened up. We've got the throttle body back in, new dipstick, everything sorted. And yeah, I'm ready now to fill it up. So basically you fill it up with coolant, then you need to start your car and you need to turn your heater all the way to full and basically let your car heat up while the heating is on full, and basically when it gets up to temperature, that'll open the thermostat and then you can kind of top up your coolant as necessary. So I've bought pre-mixed coolant. Obviously you can buy concentrate or whatever you want, it makes no odds. I know that you're meant to use distilled water if you buy concentrate, up for discussion, but I just bought pre-mixed anyway. I've got 10 litres of the stuff, I think, 2 5-litre bottles, so I should have absolutely plenty spare. So we'll get on with that now, start it up. Hopefully the battery's not flat. I'm praying it's not flat because it has been sat here over a week now. So we'll start it up, fill it up with coolant, and then hopefully job is a good one. Let's go. Best thing you can do here basically is if you go around and just squeeze all the pipes, that might get some of the air out. Top it back up, obviously to maximum, and then if you squeeze the pipes and stuff, a load will fall down. It should be all right. Oh, completely dead. Right, let's get a new battery then. Right, new battery in, take 2, hopefully. Lost my keys. It's not looking hopeful. I've got one more battery. I'm going to take it out of the Polo. I know that that one's charged, so hopefully. The only thing is, it's not big enough for this car, so I don't know if that's got much to do with it. I know that it's not the right size, but we shall see. We'll see if the Polo can come back once again and save the day. Right, this is my last battery before I've got to go home, so hopefully we've got it. She's a strong one. There she is, right. Right, every warning light under the sun flashing, but I'll let it warm up now with that battery. It's absolutely fine. It's started, which is the main thing. And then we will basically, I'll stick the heating on full, let the coolant go around the system and completely bleed it. And then hopefully we've got a working thermostat. Right, so that is it. We've completely bled the coolant system and everything on this car is now working absolutely spot on. It gets to 90 and it sticks at 90. I've taken it on short drives, it's heating up much faster, and as soon as it gets to 90, it isn't moving. Whereas before, if you accelerated, the temperature dropped. It didn't often get past 70, and yeah, the only time it did actually get up to temperature was if it was completely stationary. I could take it out on a 50-mile run and it wouldn't heat up, so it was just no good. And thankfully, it turned out it was the thermostat, and it is completely fixed. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching. As always, make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you've got any questions about how to do this, and I will try my best to answer any of these. And if you haven't already, make sure to head over to Instagram and follow me there, and you'll see all the funny behind the scenes stuff, like me just having to get my car broken into by the recovery service because I locked my keys in it. So yeah, make sure to subscribe here, follow me on Instagram, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.